very disappointing game against the Cowboys. Like, honestly, that game went about as well as you expect. That's just how the Lions season's been full of ups and downs. But hey, at least there's still the Pistons and the Red Wings this week, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at all the Detroit sports action that happened this week and see how everyone did this week. So, of course, the Pistons season started this week, with the Pistons playing host in 3 games against the Magic, the Knicks, and the Pacers. And before we get into the games, I'll give my quote to all the Knicks and the Pacer fans and congratulate both teams on their wins this week. Say congrats to both of them, man. Hey, the Pistons, their only win this week came against Orlando to open the season. And the Pistons played really good in that game, especially Jalen Duren. Like, Jalen just played an outstanding debut game, along with Jaden Ivey doing some great things, too. Jalen Duren even went as far as posting him, man. Like, good God, Jalen. I know it's your first game and you want to make an impact, but Jesus, bro. That man had a family. And Jalen also becoming the youngest person in Pistons franchise history to have a double-double in his debut game. So yeah, congrats to Jalen on that milestone. Of course, Jalen getting the mentoring from Isaiah Stewart. So yeah, that's pretty good that the two bigs are helping each other out get better in this year. Like 3 games in, still very early in the season because it's an 82-game season. Remember, season's not a sprint, it's just a marathon. And we're just getting started on the first leg. But yeah, the Pistons season already getting kick-started off. A lot of positives to take out of this, but I feel like this season's going to be an up-and-down year. Like I said, maybe there's an outside chance the Pistons could still make it in the play-in tournament. We'll have to see how everything shapes up first. And also, Bogdanovic having a really good start, too. And keep in mind, the Pistons got Boban for free, effectively. So, yeah, some good things to take out of Pistons basketball. Still a long way to go in the season as it's just getting started. Speaking of seasons, the Red Wings season continued this week with 3 games. Both the first 2 games were both overtime losses as they lost an OT to the Kings and losing the Shatoilet. So I'll give my congrats to the Kings fans, to all the Los Angeles Kings fans and all the Shatoilet fans. Congrats to both teams on their wins this week. Very hard games. Like, I think that those 2 games officially showed that that Ville Husso should be the starter going forward and not Alex Nedeljkovic. Like, Nedeljkovic has struggled to start this season so far. So yeah, honestly, it's a kind of a good thing the Red Wings got Sebastian Cossa coming up through the minors. And especially when Nedeljkovic entering a contract year, there's a good chance Steve could flip him at the deadline, maybe. Or we'll see what happens in the offseason. But at least the Wings got a win this earlier today against Anaheim, beating the Ducks 5-1. A very dominant win from the Red Wings offense. So yeah, that's pretty good to see. The Wings still undefeated through 5 games in regulation, as both losses have come in overtime. So the Wings now at 8 points. So hey, if the Wings aren't winning, they're at least losing in overtime and getting a point out of it. Since, hey, we know under season long, and every point matters to try and get into the postseason. But like I mentioned before with the Pistons, season's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We're only 5 games in, still 77 left to go. We still got a long ways to go in this very young NHL season. But yeah, definitely the Red Wings are easily becoming the best team in Detroit right now, out of all 3 teams. Well, we can't say anything about the Tigers yet because the Tigers are in off-season. But yeah, the Wings definitely becoming a must-watch team this year so far, along with the Pistons. I mean, if the Lions could get some consistency, maybe they can get up there too, but we'll have to see what happens there. And now to the Lions game. Like, I'll just say this. I've defended Goff on a couple of occasions in the offense, but This game was 100% on Goff. This game was on Jared Goff. Like, Goff just struggled in that second half. Like, the defense did their job today. They played an outstanding game, especially Aiden Hutchinson having a couple of sacks, having a good game today. A lot of pauses here, but it seems like the turning point for the Lions offense was when Amon-Ra St. Brown went down under concussion protocol because, yeah, the NFL is tying up on concussions ever since the Dolphins fucked up with Tua. When the Dolphins put Tua in when he shouldn't have even been playing, but that's a topic for another day that we'll focus on during Dolphins Hate Week this week. But yeah, just this offense struggled, like only 2 field goals. You're not going to win many games in this league with 2 field goals. Not going to happen, especially with the Cowboys. And especially when Jared Goff gives up 2 crucial picks that put the Cowboys in excellent position. The Cowboys cashing in on points. Like, yeah, you could blame the refs all you want. You can blame the refs all you want for not reviewing a turnover and for calling that terrible defensive holding when that wasn't even holding on Anzalone. When Schultz had his arm wrapped around Anzalone, and how the fuck was that a defensive holding? But at the end of the day, the refs weren't the reason the Lions lost this game. The Lions lost it themselves. Like, honestly, I hate it when people blame the refs. Like, the only time I'll agree with it is if it's warranted. This time it isn't. Refs did not rob the Lions of this game. Yeah, they're bad. I will give you that. They are bad. The refing has been bad for fucking years, and it's not going to end anytime soon. Just the Lions made way too many mistakes, and the offense just couldn't take advantage of it. The defense played their ass off, but not very hard to win when your offense puts you in bad positions to succeed. Usually leads to disaster. And the Cowboys were able to get points off the 2 turnovers. Especially 2 touchdowns to just put this game out of reach. Like, because it was looking like a very defensive game. Until the offense just shit the bed the second half. Like, make no mistake, that Cowboys defense is legit. Like I've said all year, that Cowboys defense has kept the Cowboys in a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have won, but they've won. And like I mentioned, the Cowboys defense, all their wins have come when the Cowboys defense gives up 17 points or less. And that trend continues. That's why the Cowboys are 5-2. So I'll give Mike Crow and all my congrats to all the Cowboy fans. You know, Beast of the East, Boys for Life, Mark Holmes, you know, everybody in Cowboys Nation and all the Cowboy fans out there, congrats on the win. You know, well-deserved win. Just the Cowboys just shut the Lions down on defense and were able to take advantage of Detroit's mistakes. But no, this game was not on Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell actually coached a smart game. The problem is the offense just couldn't fucking do anything. And just Jared Goff just made mistakes. Like, I think this game pretty much proves that Goff isn't the guy, but the question is, but if everyone's saying we should bench Goff and replace him, all I have to ask you is, replace him with who? And keep in mind, a lot of people that want Goff gone, just put this perspective. You all wanted this QB change. This was what you wanted. You all wanted Stafford gone. We trade Stafford, got Goff. This was what you wanted. Is it not? If no, then why the fuck did you want Stafford gone to begin with? And honestly, everyone's saying we should just take our first pick in the draft and draft a QB. Why? So that you all could turn on him the same way you all turned on Goff and Stafford? Especially a guy like C.J. Stroud. Like you've seen how bad Ohio State QBs have been when coming to the NFL. Like, Ohio State seems to do better with every other position when it comes to producing NFL talent. Except QBs, especially with how bad Fields has been with the Bears so far. Like, the only people that think Justin Fields is any good in the NFL are a bunch of draft junkies that got their heads too far up their asses. But the good news is, though, for the Lions, in terms of the Tank Bowl, the Lions are now currently the team holding the first overall pick in the draft. That will probably not last long, but hey, oh well. And honestly, I'm against fucking tanking. Honestly, I feel like the NFL should just put a draft lottery in, and that should eliminate tanking. And you know the NFL wants to put a lottery in. They're just waiting for the right time to strike while the iron is hot. But yeah, like, the season's over. Like I mentioned last 2 weeks ago after the Patriots game, the season was effectively over after that. Lions fall to 1-5. It's just at this point playing for pride and just trying to play spoiler on some teams. Like, the Lions' offense just seemed that once Amon-Ra St. Brown went down, the entire offense went flat. Especially not having DeAndre Swift in the lineup, that's still a big blow. And especially also not having Jameson Williams, too. Like, it's just a massive blow. Just struggles. Just some struggling times. You know, maybe the Lions can play spoiler, but keep in mind, the Lions struggled throughout much of the early part of last year, and then they got hot near the end of last year. You know, maybe the Lions could get some momentum late in the season, and maybe try and build some momentum for next year. Like I think it's pretty clear that Brad Holmes and company, they're just trying to build for like 2023 or 2024, when they have all the cap space, they can go after big names in free agency and all that. Remember, it's a year or two of a rebuild. And we still gotta wait. Their team is still far away from competing. Like, this season, it's just been full of ups and downs. You know, by the way, remember when There Goes Moby said that Dane Hutchinson would never get 10 sacks in the NFL? Well, there goes Moby. Hutchinson's already at 5. So, if you want to take that back, Moby, right now is the perfect time, because if you don't take it back, and Hutchinson gets 11 sacks this year, I'm going to clown the living shit out of you and any There Goes Moby fanboy that enables this bullshit. So be warned. And I already plan to clown Moby later this year and expose him being a bandwagon Charlotte Hornets fan when the Pistons play the Hornets in December. So yeah, Moby can keep up his antics for as long as he wants. Just know this. In 2 months, in December, time's up. But anyway, just, you know, I mean, what'd you expect? It's just the Lions just struggling, and they just got beat today, 24-6. Anyway, on to Miami next week against the Dolphins, against that poverty franchise. And playing Tua turns the ball over. But anyway, on to Miami next week. See ya.